Welcome to Trending Update USA. I am Steffan, and today we dive into one of the most surprising statistical storylines of the 2025 WTA season, a storyline that has set off debates, raised eyebrows, and sparked countless conversations among tennis fans, analysts, and coaches across the world. Coco Gauff, the young American superstar celebrated for her athleticism, defensive mastery, big match temperament, and rapidly rising legacy, has topped the 2025 WTA double fault count by a staggering margin, leaving many to wonder how such an elite athlete could find herself leading a category no one wants to dominate. This news not only stunned fans but became a focal point for discussions regarding technique, pressure, workload, and the evolving demands of modern tennis. And as we unpack this unexpected development, we take you through the reactions, the data, the expert insights, and the broader implications for Gauff's future as she continues to chase Grand Slam glory and cement her status as one of the defining athletes of her generation. Throughout the early months of 2025, analysts noticed a subtle but consistent pattern. Gauff's serve, specifically her second serve, became increasingly shaky at key moments. At first, it appeared to be a temporary glitch, a minor hurdle that most top players encounter in smaller patches over the course of a long season. But as tournaments went by, the numbers showed a widening gap between Gauff and the rest of the field. By late spring, she was not only leading the WTA in double faults, she was doing so by a margin that coaches described as historic, alarming, and statistically abnormal for a top 5 player. Fans who watched her live matches sensed it too, moments when her toss drifted too far back, when her racket acceleration didn't sink, when her confidence wavered just long enough to give opponents crucial breakthroughs. Yet the surprises didn't end there. Despite the double fault numbers soaring, her match-winning rate remained shockingly strong, showing that Gauff's resilience, athleticism, and all-court coverage were powerful enough to compensate for even the most troubling serving statistics. Tennis commentators began dissecting frame-by-frame footage of her serve, comparing her 2025 mechanics to the more stable service motion she showcased in her 2022 to 2023 seasons and the powerful, more refined version she used during her peak matches in 2024, including her many big wins at Grand Slam tournaments. The contrast was visible: a slightly higher ball toss, a more elongated take-back, and occasional shoulder over-rotation. Some argued she had made a technical adjustment to generate more power, which can often temporarily destabilize consistency. Others believed the issue was psychological, tied to her skyrocketing fame, increased expectations, heavy match schedule, and the constant pressure that surrounds a rising star expected to become the next enduring American tennis icon. As the numbers continued to climb, tennis statisticians released breakdowns showing just how dramatic the gap had become. Gauff was logging double faults at nearly twice the rate of several top 10 players, including proven power servers and aggressive baseline hitters. In certain matches, she recorded upward of 12 to 14 double faults, yet still managed to win through sheer grit, athleticism, court intelligence, and her ability to elevate during return games. Opponents often said in post-match interviews that even when she gave away free points, she made up for it within minutes by producing world-class defensive shots, rapid movement, and sudden bursts of offensive brilliance. Behind the scenes, her team remained calm. Coaches emphasized that serving slumps are not uncommon among rising stars, and many champion players have gone through stretches where their serve temporarily abandoned them. They pointed to examples like Elena Rybakina, who has occasionally struggled with second serve confidence, and Aryna Sabalenka, who famously overcame a years-long double fault crisis to become one of the most reliable power servers on the WTA Tour. Sabalenka herself faced a period where she recorded over 400 double faults in a single season, only to later rebuild her motion and become a Grand Slam champion. With this perspective, Gauff's camp highlighted patience, process, and trust in long-term improvement. Still, fans couldn't ignore the growing pattern. Match after match, Gauff would start strong, then suddenly lose rhythm on her serve, sometimes double faulting 2 or 3 times in the same game. Yet what made this storyline even more fascinating was that her competitive fight never faded. She kept breaking opponents, kept extending rallies, kept finding ways to win tight contests. In several tournaments, she battled through matches where her double fault count reached double digits, only to close out the match with breathtaking defense and fearless shot-making under pressure. Her mental fortitude became a talking point in itself, the ability to withstand adversity, shake off mistakes, and keep producing world-class performances even when one of her foundational weapons was misfiring. Sports psychologists weighed in, noting that young players who rise quickly often encounter phases where pressure distorts muscle memory. Gauff's massive media presence, sponsorship commitments, expectations from American tennis fans craving the next great champion, and her own internal drive to succeed have all contributed to a constant emotional load. Tennis legend Chris Evert commented that the serve is often the first shot to suffer when a player is carrying too much mental weight, and that the issue is far from permanent. Meanwhile, coaches like Patrick Mouratoglou remark that Coco's serve has always had a large margin for error due to its power-oriented mechanics, and small technical tweaks can produce disproportionately large impacts on consistency. As debates raged, one storyline emerged consistently. If Gauff could stabilize her serve, particularly her second serve, she would be nearly unstoppable. Analysts noted that despite the high double fault count, she remained one of the best returners and defenders on tour. She had improved her forehand dramatically, added tactical versatility, and demonstrated elite decision-making. Many argued that the double fault issue was simply a growing pain, an obstacle she would soon resolve through repetition and targeted coaching. Fans on social media expressed mixed emotions. Some worried that the serve slump could derail her momentum during crucial tournaments, especially as she continues to chase additional Grand Slam titles. Others argued that Gauff's ability to win despite the flaws made her even more impressive, showcasing a champion's mentality. Many pointed out that her resilience under pressure is already one of the strongest in the sport, and that once the serve stabilizes, she will become one of the most complete and dominant players of her generation. During several post-match press conferences, Gauff addressed the issue with honesty and humility. She admitted she was aware of the numbers, acknowledged the frustration, and revealed she was working closely with her team to rebuild confidence and simplify her mechanics. She emphasized that the double faults were not a result of panic but of overthinking and trying too hard to hit the perfect second serve. Her transparency and maturity earned praise from tennis legends, many of whom believe she is navigating her early career challenges with remarkable composure. Meanwhile, opponents were quick to stress that despite the double fault numbers, Gauff remained an intimidating competitor. Several top players remarked that facing her is like facing a wall that moves, describing her speed, anticipation, and refusal to give up on points. Even with a shaky serve, she frequently outlasted aggressive players simply by neutralizing their power and turning defensive points into winning opportunities. By mid-season, the question was no longer whether Gauff would top the double fault charts. That was already decided, but whether this adversity would ultimately strengthen her long-term career. Many believed it would. Sabalenka's resurgence following her double fault crisis is seen as proof that the serve can be rebuilt, restructured, and perfected with time. The fact that Gauff is still producing deep runs in tournaments suggests she is laying the foundation for a major breakthrough once the serve stabilizes. Her fans remain loyal, confident, and vocal. Many see the double fault storyline as just one chapter in a long, evolving career. They point to her historic achievements at a young age, her outstanding athleticism, and her ability to keep improving year after year. They also highlight her leadership off the court, her articulate personality, and her ability to stay grounded despite global fame. As the 2025 season moves forward, all eyes remain on Gauff's serve, her most unpredictable weapon, her biggest current challenge, and perhaps the key to unlocking her fullest potential. If she conquers this hurdle, tennis analysts believe the WTA could be entering a new era dominated by her athleticism, court intelligence, and mental steel. For now, the double fault count remains a headline, but the story behind it is one of growth, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of excellence from one of the most exciting players in world tennis. This season may long be remembered not for the flaw that drew attention, but for how Coco Gauff responded to it. And within that response lies the true measure of a champion. The numbers may show double faults, but her fight shows something far more powerful: the determination of an athlete built for greatness, navigating her challenges one serve at a time, ready to rise even higher as the world watches and waits for the next breakthrough moment.